What's up, guys? Today I'm going to be doing my newest zombie build. It is a quite bit different than what I've been running recently, and it's got some cards in here not a lot of people would ever run in a zombie deck. So I'll just go ahead and get started with the monsters. And first I'd like to go ahead and apologize for any noises you may hear, any people talking in the background, any birds chirping or cars driving by. I've got my front door open for a little better lighting. But I'll go ahead and start with the monsters, and I'm going to try to make this video really quick because I just now was almost done with this video, but my phone stopped the recording because I ran out of space on my phone. So hopefully I can get this done really quick. 3 malicious. The malicious engine runs really well in zombies. It always has, always will. It opens up a lot of level 8 synchro access with this guy. You don't need to run 3. I only run 3 because personal preference. A lot of people I play against really like to side in D Fissure and DD Crow, so I don't ever like to run out of Plague Spreader. But again, that is a card that you can run at 2 and it'll just be just fine. Next, I run 3 malicious. Not 3 malicious, 3 Mizuki. I'm sorry. My bad on that one. He's definitely one of those cards you don't want to run at 2. You don't want to run at 1. You want to run at 3 always. He just really pulls the deck together, and he will save your ass so many times. Especially with, he really helps out with your access to rank 4s and being able to reuse those Plague Spreaders over and over again. And I do apologize about my voice. I'm a little bit sick at the moment. But next, I run 2 Pyramid Turtle. Pyramid Turtle's pretty awesome because you can always set them, let your opponent crash into them, and then get whatever zombie you need. Or you can always first turn summon Pyramid Turtle. Alright. Crash into whatever your opponent has. He goes to the graveyard. You take a little bit of damage. Special summon Endless Decay. He'll be at 4,000 attack, depending on what your opponent's life points are. Because his effect is his attack is equal to half of whatever your opponent's life points are. So if you do that beginning of the game or get him out somehow, which he's really easy to get out, especially with his ability to be special summoned from the hand if you have 2,000 or less life points, which I rarely use that, but you know, that's another way to get him out on the field pretty easy. But anyway, he can be a 4K beater that isn't even near the boss of the deck. So I run 2 Zombie Master. 1 isn't enough. 3 is a little cloggy. I just like my Zombie Master to be at 2. Next I run 2 Endless Decay. Like I said, Endless Decay is really awesome. If you wanted to, this could open up rank 5s. If you wanted a deck that revolved around Endless Decay on the field. Also, him and a Plague Spreader make a Black Rose, blow up the field. Black Rose is always good in any sticky situation. I do apologize if I'm if I sound a little rushed. I just really don't want to run out of storage space on my phone again. I just kind of want to get this video out there and done with. Next, I run 2 Dark Grepher. Grepher's really good. I feel like almost any time that I open up with this card, I always win. The best combo is, let's say you draw him, Mizuki, Malicious, and any other dark monster. Send Malicious to grave to special summon him due to his effect. Send another dark monster from hand to send a dark from the deck to the graveyard. That would be your Plague Spreader. And then normal summon Mizuki, overlay for Lavalval Chain, send Mizuki to grave by detaching from Lavalval Chain, and then from there summon whatever level 8 synchros you want, or go into whatever ranks you want, just however you like. You literally just absolutely go off with that combo. Next, I run 2 Mathematician. He's really good in just about any deck that uses the graveyard often. He's a 1-up. He's a 3, so if you wanted to run Tour Guides in this deck, I used to, but I decided to take out the Tour Guides. But they run pretty well in the deck. Also, he does open up with Plague Spreader, open up the ability to summon a Catastor, which Catastor is one of those really old cards. Well, not really that old, but he's a pretty good synchro that not a lot of people use anymore, but he can be kind of devastating to certain decks. Next for the monsters, I only run one Goblin Zombie. He's okay. The only time I ever really use him is whenever I blow him up to get his effect by blowing him up with Scrap Dragon, or sometimes I'll just summon him so I can overlay for 4 if I'm desperate. But yeah, he's not that great in zombies. I mean, he is, but he isn't at the same time. I may take him out for another Necroface. Necroface is a really good card because what it does is, let's say I've used both of my Maliciouses. So I've got 2 level 8s out on the field. Normal summon this guy. All of my banished monsters, which would be 2 Malicious at this moment. Shuffle those into the deck. He gains 100 attack points for every banished monster, yours and your opponent's shuffled into the deck that way. So he can be like a 2k beater out on the field. And not only that, but then you can banish the Malicious that's currently in your graveyard still to summon one of the 2 you just put back in your deck. So it kind of resets your Malicious engine. So he's really, really useful. Not only that, but let's say your opponent mills a Eclipse Wyvern, and they banish Judgment Dragon. Normal summon him, Judgment Dragon gets shuffled, so it kind of wastes their Eclipse Wyvern. Next, I run Ill Blood. Not a lot of people use this card. His effect is okay, not the best in the world, but the reason I use him is he's a level 6. He is dark, he is a zombie, so he's a Malicious that I can send to the graveyard with Lavalval Chain or Dark Grepher. I can Mizuki him back onto the field, or Call of the Haunted him and a Malicious back onto the field. Overlay for rank 6s, and I'll go over my rank 6s here in a minute. But he's also just a 4th Malicious, like I said, that can be Mizuki'd because he's a zombie. Again, not a lot of people run that card, but I feel like he's really, really good, and once I get into my extra deck, you'll see why. And lastly, I do run Dark Armed Dragon because in any deck that has this much graveyard control, you really want to use Dark Armed Dragon. When he gets out on the field, he is a force to be reckoned with. Next, I'll be going over my trap cards. I run 2 Fiendish Chain, 2 Call of the Haunted to get back Malicious, to get back Ill Blood, to get back pretty much any card that I need. Get back a Plague Spreader if I'm desperate. All in all, just a really good card. I don't see why not a lot of people, well, a lot of people do use this card. I just don't see it played at my locals as often as I'd imagine I would, because it is a really good card. I do only run 1 Breakthrough. I do side deck another one, but I only run the 1 in the main deck. Next, I run 1 Mirror Force. Although it is going to 3, I don't think I'm going to run it at 3 because I didn't really like it at 2. Next, Bottomless. I really wish Bottomless would go to 2, especially with Soul Charge being a thing and Pendulums being a thing. I feel like that would really balance it all out. Next, 1 Compulse. Compulse is always a great card to have in the deck. Solemn Warning. I'm starting to hate this card because I feel like every time I draw it, it's after my opponent goes off, and whenever I have less than 2,000 life points, almost every freaking time. And then 1 7 Tools, because I don't really like my opponent's cards being shuffled back into the deck. I'd prefer them to just be destroyed, put it in the graveyard so I don't have to deal with it later. Because 1,000 life points isn't really that bad. Next, 2 MSTs. 2 Book of Life, because 1, you will never see it when you've got it at 1, and 3 is a little cloggy. 1 Dark Hole. Dark Hole's a pretty good card. Foolish Burial goes really great in the deck, and Reinforcement of the Army, because like I said earlier, if I open up with Dark Grepher, I almost win every game just because Dark Grepher goes so good in this deck. It is unbelievable how good he is. Okay, now I'll go on to the extra deck. I run 1 Lavalval Chain. He is 100% worth the 40 odd bucks that he will set you back. But he's honestly the reason zombies are still a really good deck. If it wasn't for him, I don't even think I'd be running zombies, just because he's that important to the deck. Next, 101. Everyone needs a 101 that has access to 4s in their deck because it will save your ass so many times. I cannot tell you how many times I've grabbed a Judgment Dragon, grabbed a Dracosac, grabbed an Exciton Knight, all sorts of crazy stuff. He's just a really good card. Next, I run Heartland Draco just because I like him better than Gagagal. Yeah, he's a little bit more risky than Gagagal, but he does 2,000 damage. Pretty much, if you don't know what his effect is, detach material, and he can attack directly for the turn, and which only he can attack directly. And my 2 6s I run Photon Strike Bouncer, which negates effects. If I get a setup where I've got BLs on the field and this guy, it's going to be a pretty brutal game for my opponent because they're not going to be able to activate an effect. Well, they can, but I'll just negate it once. Next, Gauntlet Launcher. You can use this effect twice per turn, and you detach a material to destroy one of your opponent's monsters. And he's got 2,400 attack, so he's a really, really good card. Next, for my synchros, I'll run 1 Catastor because he's still viable. Pretty easy to get out as well. Revive King Hades. A really good combo I like to do is Mizuki and Plague Spreader go into this guy, and then Mizuki, the Plague Spreader I just sent to the graveyard, to sink him and a Plague Spreader into a rank 8, or not a rank 8, a level 8, but I really only use that when I'm desperate. Next, Black Rose. Black Rosing the field is always a good feeling. I run BLs at 2 because at 1 he just gets destroyed pretty easy, and at 3 it's just kind of a wasted slot in your extra deck. Void Ogre Dragon because having BLs out on the field with a monster that negates spells and traps, well, once per turn. Really good combination. Next, Colossal Fighter because I do run Warriors, and whenever I do run into a Warrior deck, it's pretty funny when he's got 4K attack. Well, not 4K attack, I'm exaggerating a little bit on that, but you get my point. He's a really good card, he's a wall, and pretty hard to get rid of. Next, Stardust Dragon because I'll probably be side decking a Starlight Road due to Judgment Dragon. Next, Scrap Dragon because Scrap Dragon and BLs go so good together. I literally thought I came up with this combination, but then when I got on the internet, turns out everybody thought of it. Scrap Dragon's effect on BLs. BLs doesn't go to the graveyard, but whatever card of your opponents you chose does. And lastly, Crimson Blader because Crimson Blader is awesome, and I got him out of an Astral Pack. Woo, Astral Pack. Hopefully this video won't cut me off. Last thing I want to say is thanks for watching. Please subscribe. I'll be doing a lot more videos. Not only that, but I do apologize. I'm not going to be showing my side deck today because it is kind of torn up and in pieces because I'm trying to make a side deck that is still usable against other decks, but has a lot of side deck cards specifically for Lightsworns, so my side deck is kind of just all over the place right now. But yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Have a great day.